welcome to EPiraten Radio. This is session 5 and you're listening to Escape, and I'm dedicating this to a user named Poo Poo, who bought the album on Bandcamp the other day. Thanks, Poo Poo. This one's for you, mate. Like I say, this is Escape from the album Darkroom, and this is an album, it's all about progressing in life, I suppose, moving away from things that don't please you. This has that sort of train effect going on. It was an album written about moving away from a situation that you weren't enjoying and moving somewhere else and starting again. As I say, it's a big shout out there to Poo Poo. He bought this album on Bandcamp. It's called Darkroom, and you'll find all my music on all the usual streaming platforms, but I really do appreciate anybody who actually physically buys the album. That's really pleasing. And it shows that I have a little bit more faith and wanting to produce more music. What you're watching here today is the Salisbury Cathedral build. This is parts 51 to 60 on a 5x time lapse. We're going to be playing for about an hour today. And so Poo Poo will play another one from that album. This is going to be Hypnosis. Magical, non-verbal suggestion. mind control. Welcome to the stream. This is EPiraten Radio Session 5, where I play some of my music to a time-lapse on Minecraft. You're watching the build of Salisbury Cathedral here, and we've managed to complete some of the nave, and we've worked on the transept, and we're now working on the choir transept, which is that little bit that sticks out at the top end there. You can see on the plan, working to the plan there on the left hand side of the screen, and to a lot of reference photographs. So Hypnosis there, from the album Dark Room. And once again, just a big shout out to Poo Poo for your purchase on Bandcamp. That's really appreciated, mate. And this whole stream is dedicated to you. You can listen to EPiraten music on your Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, wherever you can get it, really. You'll just have to search EPiraten. It's capital E, capital P, IRATEN. And you'll find there's about 6 albums on there you can listen to. We'll be playing a few of the tracks as we go through this stream. Got any questions about the build, just let us know, and we'll do a how to build next week and answer any of your questions. Three, two, one. And we're back in the room. Okay, let's move on. This is a track. It comes from the album Castell, and this whole album was written at the beginning of the Ukraine war, and it's all about how it feels to have enemies over the horizon and coming towards you, and that feeling of stepping up to the plate and doing what's right. The whole album was around this sort of naval kind of going out, sort of like a Das Boot kind of thing. And there's tracks on that album called Sonar, and it's all this sort of hunting and being hunted theme. And this is the final track on the album. This is where the I suppose the stricken vessel is trying to struggle back to harbour. The artwork there is a painting I've done. This actually shows Aberystwyth Harbour looking out towards the Clean Peninsula, and the red dot there is actually, it's not the sun, it's a flare going up. So yeah, this is a track, one of my favourites, and it has that sort of serenity and that panic in it, and I hope you feel that when you listen to this track, The Return. that's the return from the album Castell. It looks like some adverts will be running. I'm going to just push them early now because I want to go into a series of tracks in the next section that is a bit of a medley, and I don't want any interruptions. So whilst Twitch goes off on ad break, we can talk a little bit about the build for all the others. So as you can see, you've got the Minecraft blueprints build going on in the background. I like to keep the colors of the build in these sort of classic blueprint colors. There's the white, just using quartz, different variations of quartz, the chiseled and the pillar and the block. Basically just do so vertical columns are obviously in pillar form, and keystones are in chiseled, just to give that sort of slight texture. But the whole idea of the project is to enable you guys to see quite clearly the structures that have been formed. Try to keep these builds obeying the laws of gravity, I suppose, and obeying the laws of physics, and as close to the original builds as possible, and then allow you guys to then use your special skills to adorn and try to either make the cathedrals look really great, weathered and all that sort of stuff, or if you want to do a bit of fantasy colouring, go your way. But use these videos if you want to get that really cool initial structure done. So it looks like Twitch is back, so we're going to move on now. This is a track called Rain from the album Atmospherics. It was an album that I wrote from one recording of a thunderstorm, and then did a load of sound design to generate all these different textures. I mean, let me shut up and get out of the way, and you can enjoy Rain, and I'll come back to you at the end. The track Rain. This is, as I say, it was from a thunderstorm that hit us a few years back, and I took a recording of that thunderstorm, and then most of these deep sounds you can hear are basically manipulations of that thunderstorm. And this is represents that sort of feeling just after a storm, and that sort of sense, that you've had this sort of this lightness that comes about once the storm has cleared the atmosphere. And we're going to be moving on into a track that is its sort of sister thing, is that one where the rain starts to stop, and but we're talking in the summer here, so the heat is quite high, and you have this sense of this sort of another build-up going on, a heat build-up during the day. So this next track is called Heatwave. The art you got here is actually a photograph I've taken of that actual storm, with a little bit of texture put on top of it. All the artwork you see, by the way, are all original artwork, either photography or paintings by me. The album Atmospherics is was always something that it was one of those ideas I got. It's similar to what Peter Gabriel used to say: is you give yourself a restriction and it makes you more creative. And so the restriction was basically I had to try to limit the sounds to what you could hear in the sky. So there would be wind, rain, aeroplanes, storms, things like that. And then have this create the sounds only from those sounds. So we're moving on into the last track on the album, which is called Tribo Electric Reprise. And Tribo Electric is that it's that thing, I think, that you get that sense of static in the air when you get a thunderstorm brewing. You can sort of feel it. You can feel the energy in the atmosphere. And reprise because the opening track, or one of the opening tracks, is Tribo Electric, and I was reusing, not only was I reusing the sounds of the atmosphere, I was reusing the sounds of the album itself. Triboelectric reprise there. I like playing with expectations in my music, and a lot of times that usually means that when there is certain structures in music and the listener is expecting something, I tend to not give it to them. Or I will give it to them when I want to give it to them, not when they're expecting it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. But it's one of those things where it improves with more listens, I believe. I'm not giving you that instant gratification. This next track is Industry. We're going to play this is a medley from the first 3 tracks on the album Industry. And it's one of those things I'm always thinking of artistic constraints when working on music, and the restraint on this one was it had to be 3 tracks that was no more than 20 minutes because it wanted to fit on one side of a vinyl record. And I wanted that dub techno kind of feel to it, atmospheric. So you're listening to EPiraten Radio Session 5. Good to see you, and I hope you're having a good weekend. We do this every week. You are watching the build, the 5X build on Salisbury Cathedral. And we're working on that very difficult east end of the cathedral at the moment. And it's an area which I couldn't quite get the reference photographs for. And I will leave you to listen to Industry. By the way, I'm not saying Industry on this one, it's called Is This a Dream? So this is Salisbury Cathedral. This is radio session 5, and you're listening to Industry from the album Industry. It was an album that came out in 2024. And it's a medley at the beginning of the album, and moves on now into a track called Outback. And the 5X video you're watching is just about to come to an end, so I thought I'd transfer that to a video of basically the complete build. This is the complete build video, and as you can see, this is the west fascia you're looking at. I think there's a few little things I needed to finish off here, but this is just a quick show of where we get to. The painting there is called The Lonely Tree, and it's at a place in Snowdonia, which is from a painting of mine. And obviously this track is called Outback, so it's got that didgeridoo kind of Aboriginal kind of feel to it. We're looking at the famous cloisters. These are the cloisters I think appear in the Harry Potter films. And we're now into the chapter house, which contains a copy of the Magna Carta. Here we go, that's Where Are You Now from the album Industry. And looks like we're coming up on the hour. And I'd just like to big shout out again to Poo Poo, who I have dedicated this stream to. He bought a copy of this album. It's called Dark Room, and you've heard a few tracks from it. Today, I think I'll leave you with the final track on the album, and I talk about artistic handcuffs, almost. You have to sort of, when you're doing any kind of art, you have to put some blinkers on, some rules in order to bring out creativity. And on this track, it was basically to do some cinematography kind of sounds, and have this sense of space and approaching a space capsule, something like that.
Welcome aboard.
There we are, we're coming up on the hour. I'd like to thank you all for listening to the EPiraten Radio Session 5. I'll be back in the next few days with some more radio sessions, with how to build sessions, and we will be looking also at on Flight Pass. We'll be looking at doing some of these cathedral flyovers as well at some point. That was a station, as I say, dedicated to Poo Poo. All right, good to see you, and I'll look forward to playing a few more of my tracks next time, and might even try doing some live production sessions, just so you can get inside the mind of EPiraten. Anyway, good to see you, and I'll speak to you next time.